Hey y'all, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. My name's Stephanie. Today I'm going to show you how I made these 3 quick and easy lemon decor pieces all on a budget. Let's jump right into DIY number 1. For this project I used a water container from the seasonal section at Dollar Tree, as well as 4 of the Sure Scents lemon air freshener beads, also from Dollar Tree. I began by using the tip of my hot glue gun once it was heated up to the high temperature setting to easily put several holes in the top of the water container so the lemon fragrance could easily diffuse. Then I used a sanding block to sand any of the rough areas and to scuff up the plastic so I could paint the lid with 1 coat of Waverly chalk paint in the color white. I want to thank all my wonderful subscribers. Y'all are absolutely amazing. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, what are you waiting for? Click that button and stick around for a while. Once the lid was completely dry, I went ahead and added all 4 packages of the lemon air freshener beads to the container and replaced the lid. If you have a little one running around, I would definitely recommend keeping this up and out of reach so that they don't think it's actually a drink or a food item. I did check the spigot to see if any liquid would come out, and 3 days later, still nothing coming through the spigot. But just to be safe, I would definitely keep it out of reach of children. Once I had the lid tightly in place, I took some lemon farmhouse ribbon I picked up at Dollar Tree and used some hot glue to wrap it around the lid. And then using the same ribbon, I made a simple bow and hot glued it to the side of the lid. I'm not the best bow maker, so I didn't want y'all to have to watch me struggle, so I went ahead and made the bow off camera. To finish off this DIY, I used one of the chalkboard tag clothespins from a 4-pack I picked up at Dollar Tree. First I removed the clothespin, then used a white paint pen to write fresh lemonade, and then hot glued it to the front of the container. And that was it. It was that quick and simple to make this little lemonade fragrance diffuser. You can definitely smell the lemons from the scent beads, and I cannot wait to change it up for the different seasons using other scents. Today's video is part of the Lemon Love Challenge hosted by Creating It Myself. If you love beautiful and unique home decor DIYs, then definitely go check out her channel. I'll leave a link to her channel and a link to the challenge playlist in the description box below, so y'all can go check out all the other wonderful lemon DIYs the other amazing crafters in this challenge came up with. Now with that said, let's jump into DIY number 2. For this project, I used a lemon and leaf shape that I drew and cut out of a piece of cardstock, 2 sheets of yellow felt, and 1 sheet of Kelly green felt. First, I used a fine tip black marker to trace out 6 lemon shapes onto the yellow felt. I was able to get 4 lemons on each felt sheet. Then I traced out 8 leaf shapes onto the Kelly green felt. If you don't want to freehand the shapes to make the template like I did, you could definitely Google lemon shape and leaf shape and print one out that way. Once I had all the shapes traced onto the felt, I then cut them out. Next, I used 1 sheet of silver gray felt and the letters GRANT from this folk art stencil set I picked up at Walmart. I then traced each of the letters backwards onto the felt so that when I cut them out, if there were any black marks left by the marker, they would be on the back side of the letters. Once I had all the letters of our last name traced out onto the felt, I took my scissors and cut them out. I found out fairly quickly that a smaller detailed pair of scissors works best for these letters. You can get a pair of detailed scissors just about anywhere. I usually get mine at the Dollar Tree and they are absolutely wonderful. The last item I used for this DIY was one of the ribbed floor mats that I picked up at Dollar Tree. I flipped the mat over to the darkest side and laid out the lemons and the last name where I wanted them. Once I was happy with the way it looked, I took my hot glue gun and glued them into place. Please be careful if you decide to do this and wear finger protectors. The hot glue is very hot and will seep through the felt pieces. I did end up taking this outside and giving it a couple of coats of Mod Podge clear acrylic sealer, which I'm really sorry I forgot to film. I really do love how quick and easy this DIY was, and it's absolutely adorable. I think I have a grand total of roughly $2.12 in this project. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be keeping this under my kitchen sink to go with the rest of my lemon decor. Now for my favorite out of all of today's projects, DIY number 3. For this final DIY, I started with one of the bicycle wheel forms and used a drill with a 5/16 inch bit to make the center hole in the form a little bit bigger. Once I had the center hole on the wreath form widened, I then took one of these lemon placemats I got on sale for 50% off at Hobby Lobby and hot glued it to the bicycle wreath form, making sure that the center was lined up with the center hole in the wreath form. I used a generous amount of hot glue along each section of the wreath form and around the center hole. I haven't had any issues with the glue holding, but if you want, you can definitely use a stronger, more permanent adhesive to glue the placemat to the wreath form. After the hot glue had set up, I then flipped the wreath form over and used a generous amount of hot glue to reinforce the spokes of the form as well as the outer ring and center portions for added security. Next was the most difficult part of this whole project, but even then it was pretty easy to do. I took a utility knife and very carefully started making cuts around the center of the hole so that the clock mechanism would go through the placemat. I did end up using a small pair of scissors as well as a more heavy-duty pair of scissors to cut through the thick thread on the center of the placemat. Please be careful and pay attention to where your hand is during this step if you decide to make one of these clocks. I took my time and eventually got the hole cut all the way through the center of the placemat. I do want to go ahead and apologize for all the times that y'all have had to see my shoulder throughout this video and project. Some of the angles for some of these projects were pretty difficult to reach around the tripod. After I had the center hole cut, I then took these 2.5 centimeter adhesive clock numerals that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, cut them apart and placed them around the placemat along the lines separating each triangle of the lemon slice. Once I was happy with the placement, I went in with my hot glue gun and glued them down into place. Next, it was time to assemble the clock mechanism. I used one of the 3/8 inch clock movement kits from Hobby Lobby and followed the assembly instructions on the packaging. The clock movement kit that I did buy did include the hands, but I wanted the clock to have larger hands so it would be easier to read, and I just thought the larger hands would look better. So I picked up some 4-inch clock hands from Hobby Lobby and assembled them according to the instructions on the package. Once the hands were securely in place, I put a AA battery in the clock mechanism, and that was it. It works perfectly, and I think I did a pretty good job putting it together for the first time making a clock. This has got to be one of my all-time favorite DIYs. I am so proud of the way it turned out, and it's so unique. Let me know what y'all think of this one, or which DIY from this video is your favorite in the comments below. Y'all, I had so much fun making these DIYs, and I really hope y'all enjoyed watching them as well. As always, thanks for watching, and if you like these projects and want to see more like them, please give me a thumbs up. It really does help out my channel. And please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I would love to have you as part of my crafty family. Also, don't forget to check out the playlist link below, and I'll see y'all next time.